The more the White House formula of connecting any Republican to President Trump January 6th and general radicalism, well, that formula appears to be working. The red tsunami that was barreling towards the blue sea of Capitol Hill has calmed to a rainstorm. Just look at some of these headlines, even from the Wall Street Journal. Hopeful signs for Democrats in the 2022 midterms. Are Republicans losing their midterm edge? It's by no stretch a Republican runaway that many pundits and journalists expected, even predicted. We called it a calm blue sea on Wednesday. It seems Democrats have finally found the right words to describe their common enemy and overcome any issues as it relates to the economy. President Biden's been trying out various iterations for months to paint conservatives in this broad stroke of a Trump ideology, a concept so often categorized by the left as racist, as dangerous, as extreme. First, there was Jim Crow 2.0.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. I mean, this is gigantic, what they're trying to do.
That was about voting rights. Then there was the ultra-MAGA phase.
And what did the MAGA crowd want to do? Under my predecessor, the great MAGA king. Ultra-MAGA agenda is the ultra-MAGA plan. Ultra-MAGA Republicans.
Now the White House says it's getting ready to hold a unity summit next month, another chance to connect Republicans to Trump January 6th and political violence. And why wouldn't they have this unity summit? The plan's working. Just take a look at the polls. Voters who just 1 month ago favored GOP control of Congress by almost 2 full points now favor a Democratic hold. Senate Democrats are enjoying especially high marks heading towards November. Key states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Ohio all have the Democrat up. Wisconsin especially is surprising. Georgia as well, you could add to that list. Niall Stanage with us now, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill. Did they stumble upon this, or was there polling behind this very common theme and messaging?
I think there was a general belief that this would help the Democratic case going into the midterms. Clearly, there were issues that the president and his party were facing in terms of inflation, in terms of other elements of unpopularity. And so obviously it is to their benefit to try to turn the midterms into a referendum on former President Trump. Now, I'm not sure, in fairness, Leland, that it's untrue, as it were, to tie the Republican Party writ large to the former president. After all, he keeps demonstrating his very considerable influence in party primaries, including his role in nominating many of the candidates in the races that you just mentioned in your
look, Georgia, his pick, Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz, Pennsylvania governor, nominee there, Ohio, J.D. Vance as well. Here's how the Democrats are trying to capitalize on this. Take a listen to some of the ads.
Meet Dan Cox, Donald Trump's hand-picked candidate for Maryland governor.
If Mastriano wins, it's a win for what Donald Trump stands for.
It's why Bailey proudly embraces the Trump agenda, calling into question our elections.
Handpicked by Trump to run for Congress, Gibbs called Trump the greatest president.
What about this overcomes people's anger about the economy? Is it from the polls only on the Democratic base and firing those folks up, or is it actually swinging independents?
I think it's primarily aimed at the Democratic base. Democrats have had a difficulty long before the current administration at turning out their voters in midterm elections. I won't get too far into the weeds of that, but basically the demographics that tend to vote Democratic are less reliable in turning out for midterm elections. So it's obviously important that the president and his party can do that. The other thing I'd mention, Leland, is that those polls that you correctly mentioned are closing or tightening. That has happened as 2 other things have happened. One, gas prices have begun to come down. And the second one that I think is underestimated in media coverage generally is an apparent backlash against Roe v. Wade being struck down. The polls have closed very noticeably since then.
Yeah, it's an excellent point, especially when you look at what happened in Kansas and how that turned out, those demographics that you just talked about. Mitch McConnell also added one other sort of finer point to your analysis, the Senate Minority Leader. Take a listen.
Yeah, I think there's probably a greater likelihood the House does than the Senate. Senate races are just different. They're statewide. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome.
Candidate quality, a euphemism for Trump candidates?
I think so, and I don't think there's any great surprise in that regard, given that Senator McConnell and the former president detest each other, honestly. And so,
real quick, and I only got 30 seconds. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it dawns on me that those things can reverse, right? Gas prices, especially the economy, can go ahead and get worse. In June, when we were talking, the market was down 10% from where it is right now. What are Democrats worried would overcome this momentum that they've gained?
A failure for inflation to come down at all. That's clearly the heaviest millstone around their neck, and if that doesn't change, it's very difficult for them to transcend or to get around that.
Yeah, really fantastic analysis. Niall, it's the reason we have you. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend, sir.
You too, Leland. Take care.
All right, now, thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.